So this is a model of the right shoulder. This would be the arm bone. The ball and socket joint would be in here. The rotator cuff in this model is represented by this muscle here, which is the subscapularis muscle, the one on the top, which is the supraspinatus, and then these two across the back. And you can see how they cuff around the ball to hold it in place. In general, though, this muscle on top, the supraspinatus, is the one that probably 90% of the time has the injury. Once they lose the attachment of that tendon, the shoulder becomes very non-functional. It doesn't move the way it should. The ball and socket don't hold together the way they should, and so there's always that generation of pain. There are people, though, that can have a tear that can actually come in with very little pain, but they have very poor mobility. So because they can't really pick their arm up, they can't really generate pain. So that's kind of the other extreme, which is a rare thing, but usually it's pain in the shoulder and it just won't go away. Most of them that have a tear are still functional. They're coming in, it's been bothering them for 6 months, but they've done nothing to make it better. And in fact, they've been guarding it and watching it and kind of coddling it. And we actually want to show them, hey, let's try and work through this and see what you do. The younger age group with partial tears, they have some ability to potentially rehab. In other words, if they just overdid it and we can figure out what that is and we can change their mechanics, make things function better in their shoulder, we might be able to just strengthen that rotator cuff. The little bit of tearing would heal on its own and it would be fine. In the majority of them, though, once they start to get a tear, and especially when they cross over that kind of that 40-year age group, it starts to become a harder thing just to rehabilitate. We frequently, though, try that because many times of the 4 rotator cuff muscles, 3 of them are great and the 1 is the problem. And if it's more of a partial type tear, you want to see whether they can recover it. If they're going to need surgery, doing the rehab ahead of time, it's money in the bank for them. So they gain from that rehabilitative process. So we like trying that on a lot of people. I think when it's a full tear and they can't pick their arm up at all, it's really hard to rehab those. So yes, most of those are going to end up going on to surgery.